Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. We are live and present. Let's do this. Episode 1. Where do we start? I picked the topic. I left Fox for you. Interesting. So, I picked the topic because I did not get any serious recommendations. Actually, I got no recommendations. So I was talking to my wife and came up with the idea. So, here we are. And part of this is learning together. Okay? What that means is I'm going to show you kind of how this process works. What you do. I did ask for recommendations at the end of my last stream. It's all good. I'm not going to stay stuck on this, but I have started a thing, and that means I'll do it in the future. It'll keep going. So we're going to start with that commentary website we went to. Welcome everyone. Light. What was the name of that website? Studylight.org. There we go. Look at that. Good old memory. I just sneezed recently, so if you hear me sniffling, it's because I sneezed. What? What? Studylight.org. How did it go to YouTube? Obviously, I misclicked something there. So welcome, everybody. Let's learn together. Okay? What we're going to do is we're going to have this pulled up. I'm going to go ahead and shut that because we don't want to go there. We don't need it. Let's see. I'm going to see if there's anything particular on this website. General Bible search. Is there a site search? Dude, totally nobody took me up on the offer to tell me the city they live in. And for me to find you a church. I was totally serious about that. Totally serious about that. Alright, so what we're going to do... You know what? Illustrations could be useful. Grumpy? Challenge accepted. Oh, you go to a church already. Well, if you like your church, you're not asking me to help you leave your church, are you? But anybody that isn't in a church, share your city with me. Okay, these aren't the illustrations I'm interested in. Alright, so we're going to move on. We're going to leave studylight.org up, though. This is a good website. We're going to use it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to literally type in timelines of Genesis verse by verse. You thought I was going to stop, didn't you? Verse by verse. How about that? Adding some extra details there. My friends over at Answers in Genesis. Oh, look at that. Look at that proclamation. A correct chronology. How about that? You know, that other one had an actual website named Bible Timelines. That was interesting. All right. Challenge accepted. Done. Save the photos. Driving a sticking van. Y'all know I drive a Pilot. All right. So we're going to have those four tabs open. That'll be likely all we need. This is obviously going to be pretty exhaustive, but here's what I'm actually curious about, right? What is the corroborating evidence? What is the deductive reasoning that Answers in Genesis uses to proclaim that the earth is, by what I'm seeing here, is 6,023 years old? According to these guys, 6,023 years ago. Which I've talked to you. I've talked to you about this before. I think it's extremely reasonable. Extremely reasonable to say 6,000 years. I get it. I'm just going to go through some resources here. But one of the reasons, people automatically will go to the whole issue of, well, we have fossils that are 15,000 years old, 1,000,000 years old, 15 million years old, 400 million years old, all of that. But that is a moot point, in my opinion. Due to technique. It's extremely inconsistent anyway. I can't even believe that anybody is confident on the whole carbon dating or any other prehistoric dating at all. It's carbonized wheat from Pharaoh's destruction by the Gezer fire. Interesting. Carbonized wheat. Never heard of such a thing. That's interesting. This is pretty verse by verse. Hmm. There's a lot to read, guys. And you notice that I'm not sitting here reading it. I'm actually looking for something specific. What are you looking for? Looking for a chart, which I think is right here. Is it this dude's Ham, right? It Hovend or Ham. I get them mixed up. I think Ham is the dude. Answers in Genesis guy. And Kent Hovend is another dude. Obviously, I could have them mixed up. I can't remember. You see how many times I do that? It's almost hysterical. Oh yeah, that's high definition right there. What is the original file? Alright, we're going to keep moving on. Leave that up. It's interesting. Little chart. 150 DPI file. Okay. What if you have like 3 monitors? You can make this your background on a 3-monitor setup or something? Or 4 monitors? Earth's created a weak timeline, blah blah blah. Garden of Eden, yeah. Okay, this is not helpful. We understand the timeline of the first week of creation. What's this? I've talked about this before. The distance of stars and galaxies and all that is a moot point because God spoke it into existence. It didn't have to follow a natural process because creation wasn't a natural event. It's not natural for substance to just come out of someone's mouth, except spit. But you get the point. Hey, make sure to put at in my name if you're trying to get my attention. Victoria James sounds like a Christian musician. Just there must be a musician that has a similar name. There's a James or something. I don't know. But welcome. No. At Gospel Bearer. It turns orange when you do at Gospel Bearer. Not my name. My name doesn't turn orange. Okay, so moving on. Let's do this. We're looking for charts. That's what I'm looking for. Did I give up on that one website already? Is it like BibleTimelines.com or something? I think I closed it out because I didn't like it. Or I never opened it. One or the other. This is really complicated. You're really building the suspense for me, guys. Must be massive. Okay, it's pretty good. This is what I was looking for, something along these lines. This is good. This is good stuff. Look, it breaks down the books. It breaks down the sections. It's got lines. It's got names of the books. It's got years and names. And we've got 4000 BC. We've got AD. All that. And just look at, that's the other fascinating thing. I want you to see the history. The history. Stopping with, I guess, Nehemiah. I thought Malachi. It's just ever so slightly. So anyway, Daniel's 77s, which is in the book of Daniel, chapter 9. That's fascinating, right? That's like a foretold period. So anyway, you move from Malachi all the way back here to Genesis, and this is to scale. The New Testament takes up a portion of time about the length of 1 Samuel. I mean, a little bit longer. Shorter than 1 Kings. Ezra, the book of Ezra, and the New Testament take up about the same amount of time. It's very important to think about. The life of Joseph was far longer than the whole of the New Testament. Let's see. Looks like they took into account the issue with Enoch's life. There was an issue with one of these guys' lives, and they figured that out. It was really good. I watched a whole sermon on it, and I'll have to pull that up sometime. But let's see. Paul Hansen, B.A., Columbia, South Carolina. Interesting. We probably went to the exact same school. Columbia International University. What do you know? Except that's where I got my master's. Not that I'm saying that I know more than this guy, because obviously he's done some good work here. Not that this hasn't been done hundreds of times. So duration boxes, ends, implied dates, information only boxes, non-colored. Interesting. So they're saying, see the age of when the child was born. Seth was 105 when Enos was born. Enos was 90 when Canaan was born. Canaan was 70 when Mahalalel was born. Mahalalel was 65 when Jared was born. He was 162 when Enoch was born. He was 65 when Methuselah was born. Methuselah was 187 when Lamech was born. And Lamech was 182 when Noah was born. Enoch never knew Noah, but there was a handful of these people. You know, Seth, hypothetically, Seth, Seth was alive. That's madness. It's just insanity to think about. It's insanity. So obviously some of the questions that people raise is how many of these hypothetically could be skip generations. Obviously Adam and Seth are not. Obviously. And the way that it's written, there's no implication that there was a skipped generation because it wasn't that kind of list. It literally said that the age that they were when the other one was born in the verses. So that's part of the confidence that they have. So the word.net is Larkin's dispensation book on it. Dispensation? That's awesome. Yeah, that's a great name, Victoria. To be named after a hymn. That's fun. Y'all are doing a lot of talk. Wow, Nate. Robert Pearson is here. Good evening, everyone. All right, so I'm guessing your reference, Robert, is in confirmation that none of these are skipped. There's no skipping of generations. I know that already, but I was just saying that some people try to argue that there's like 10 generations or a certain number of generations in between each of these. What did you say? You said none of them can skip gens. And I'm just confirming what, yeah, you're confirming what I was saying, vice versa. I was confirming what you were saying. Absolutely. So then we have the flood. And we're to assume that Methuselah died in the flood, which is kind of, you think, oh man, Noah's grandpa? Dang. So anyway, that's part of what they have here, that hard line. And then you have Noah, you have Shem, which was, and then we have a whole new timeline here. This green, let's see, Peleg. Where's Peleg? Oh, okay. And then we've got verse references too. You can actually pull the verses up and see exactly where this is talking about. So let's see. I want to follow this chart up here. This is a good chart. Are you talking about pulling this up, Candy? Does it click anyone else off of live? So you're like a few minutes behind. Does it click anyone else off of live? I don't know what that means. Oh, yeah, you can do that. All right, so moving on. Let's follow the logical progression here, and then what I'm going to do tonight before I finish is we've got about 36 minutes because I want to get to bed early tonight. I woke up at 4:30 something this morning, and it's 8 something, 8:24 now. So it's been a long day. But what I want to do before I finish up is I want to review this timeline, and then I want to find out what reference point, and you can look at it. You can see, well, they've got Jesus, and we know that, but this is using primarily genealogy, but I want to see where the gaps are. So we're gonna focus on some of the issues. But let's go to the top here. Birth. So we've got the flood, Genesis 6 through 9, chapters 6 through 9. We've got the birth of Abraham in Genesis 11, and then Genesis 12:4 it talks about it again. And Abraham is where? Abraham's down here. So 75 years between Abraham and what? What happened in 75 years? The sojourn of Israel. Okay. And then it wasn't until he was 100 years old. And he had Ishak, Isaac. Then Isaac was 60 and Jacob. Did Abraham... Yeah. According to this, Jacob could have known Abraham. Joseph could not. Joseph could have known Isaac. It's based on the timeline that they're showing. All right, sojourn began. Galatians 3:16 through 18 references it. That's New Testament. Okay. And then Genesis 12:10. It's where you can read about that. And then there's this dotted line splitting right down the middle. Jacob's family entered Egypt, Genesis 47. So this is the entire book of Genesis. Let's see how many generations. Let's count the generations to the end of Genesis. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. I think I counted correctly. We'll just go with it. So they're timing the book of Job around 20, what is that, 1700, give or take. They're timing the book of Job around the year 1700. 16, no, 16 something. 17 would be here. So 1680, somewhere around 1680 or so. It's the book of Job, BC, according to this chart, right? Then we've got Joseph, and then we've got Moses, Joshua. And then no more genealogy till you got Saul, David, Solomon. Okay, back up here at the Exodus. 4th year of Solomon's reign was another marker. 1 Kings 6:1. The end of Solomon's reign, Daniel taken. They're marking that on a timeline. And then the minor prophets here, these groupings of minor prophets associated with the 20 kings of the southern kingdom of Judah. The northern kingdom is a length of time here. And what's all this? From 2nd Chronicles, you've got a lot more names. Corrigency. I don't know what that means. Corrigency. I don't even know what that means, but it's talking about that there. All right, end of the reign of Zedekiah for 2nd Chronicles 36. The first temple is destroyed. That happens in 590 something BC. And then what's going on in the chat? Can't see, my head is in the way. That's a good point. What do I do? What do I do? Let's see if I can zoom in and then move around. Oh yeah, this is nice and all right. Now you can see. Thanks for letting me know. I forgot about the whole all right. So down here, it says 81, and then all here is 80, 33. What's up top? Let's go up top here. birth of Christ. Luke 2:1-7. Christ's ministry began. I don't know what 6289 and 6303 means. ANNALS. What is that referencing? This is what we do. This is how we learn. You just look it up. Study. If you don't understand something, look it up. A record of events year by year. So is that telling me that the number of events in that year was 6,000 events? I don't know. I bet you Robert knows. Sometimes we can use each other to learn. We combine our knowledge. Alright, so second temple. So what was the first thing about the temple? We had a temple thing. First temple was destroyed. Second temple completed, which is this line here. So it took a period of somewhere around 70 years between that. And then the temple destroyed by Titus. In 70 AD. Well, what is that talking about, guys? What is this? What is that? Let's look that up. I don't know what you all are doing. Titus, 70 AD. Let's see what all this pulls up. Specifically because I have no idea what the annals 6976 means. And it's not really pulling anything up. Except the same document that we're already looking at. Ah, it's a book. It's a book, guys. Senator Tacitus wrote a book called Annals. So that's what it's referring to. Wonder if... Yeah, look at that. Steady Light has that book, apparently. That's fascinating. Close some of these tabs. There's a lot of stuff there. I mean, somebody did a lot of work with that, you know? See here, they actually show how Cain is connected to Enoch. And then Methuselah. Yeah. Yeah. I bet that would be a pretty. Obviously, it could be made a lot bigger. That's pretty cool. Um, all right. So obviously, Answers in Genesis just has a ton of stuff, a ton of information on the topic because it's what they do. That's what they do. All right, we're gonna go back to this. Oh, look at that! Oh my goodness. So I'm guessing this is translated. So what was the number? 6976. 6976. Good grief. Could you imagine being this this historian? All this writing? 6976. Alright, there we go. By August 8th, Titus was getting... I mean, look at this. By August 8th, Titus was getting nowhere by battering with the ram the wall of the inner temple, nor by undermining foundations of the gates because of their huge size and the strong cementing of the stones together. Neither could the Romans get up in porches, ladders. Titus had not burned it, compelled by necessity to do so. He ordered the gates of the inner temple to be set on fire. Fire caught onto the adjoining porches, and everything was in flames. The Jews beheld the what? The what? Oh, I'm just kidding. Beheld and burnt. Hold on. Sometimes it's a lot of words, guys. Jews beheld and wondered at it, but did not try to stop and quench the fire for the very amazement. Hence the porches burnt all that day and the following night. They just stared at the fire. This dude wrote this, like, a long time ago, obviously, like, and the story he's telling, he's like, yeah, they just looked at it. Would you look at that? Just look at it. Look at this. Look at that. Just look at it. You know what I do when something's burning? I just look at it. I just look at it. August 10th, when the Romans who kept the guard in the outer range of the temple were provoked. Alright. This happened in the second year of the Vespasian, in the same month, in the very same day of the month that the first temple was burned by Nebuchadnezzar. And he's just giving corroborating examples. So this dude was an epic historian. Is what you're seeing here. 53 A.D. I mean, just really. James Usher. It happened on the 23rd day of October. Shouldn't it have happened on January 1st? Oh gosh. Oh boy. I mean, that's how specific this guy wanted to be. This is fascinating. I think I've heard of this. It seems vaguely familiar, but, you know, this is fascinating. James Usher's Annals of the World. When was this written? It's fascinating, though. Victoria James. asking, when do we do? My main channel is video. I don't know what's going on. All right, moving on. I'm going to have to move on to the serious question of the night. This is just a tiny little peek into learning together, guys. We're just learning together. Chronology is a 17th century chronology. So it was written in the 1600s, 1650 apparently, from creation to 70 AD. That dude, do you understand what an undertaking that was? In the 1600s? Props to that guy, though, because that's pretty serious. This is one of the books I've got. One of many. Good old McDowell. It's a good book, though. So, I've not read the whole thing, because how do you do such a thing? One dude wrote it. Let's see. I had this here just to see if there might be a thing on the age, the timeline of the Earth and all that. Nah, not really. It's good stuff, though. Historical evidences for the Christian faith. Josh McDowell. I've got a lot of books. Anyway, let's check this out real quick. See this dude. Published in 1650. Good grief. It was all in Latin, obviously. Guys, if my wife, when my wife finishes writing, I want there to be, just look at it. The dude I guess it's Jesus. It's got the halo. It appears to be the cross. Guys, I want an illustrator for my wife's stuff. Just look at how amazing that is. Just amazing. So we got Annales Veteris Testamenti, Prima Mundi, Origine Deducti, In Principio Creavat Deus. My Latin pronunciation isn't perfect, obviously, because I'm not 470 years old. But if I was, I'd just read right through it, all fast like. Genesis and no, not just Genesis. The day of creation happened on October 20. That is some funny stuff. I mean, it's not really funny. It's interesting. It's interesting. The Annals of the Old Testament. I always saw this Annals thing and never knew what in the world was going on. Now I know what that is, and all I can tell you is that for authors, nothing could, like, how beautiful. How this is just fascinating, guys. The Julian period. The year before Christ. Wait, I thought this was the year of the world. Wait, I thought this was all... Oh, it's not all in Latin. This is like... Yeah. I mean, 1650. Yeah, it's like good old King James English. Yeah, you use the King James Bible. That's right. I'm trying to get my... Guys, it's been a long day. It just occurred to me what year that actually was in relation to other events. Okay. Also, it's just so interesting how letters change. You know, that's an S. It looks like an F. But the F is clearly different than this S. But it is just interesting because we've got S's at the end of words that look like RS. But then you've got this. What is that? Is it... Why is it... Oh, it doesn't matter. Alright. I'm done here. My work here is done. Let's move on to the next aspect of what we were trying to learn tonight. Okay? So we've got this epic chart that really does an excellent job of breaking stuff down. What are some... Maybe that's where it is. Maybe it's the annals that really break down... What is he still? Let's see what he says about the 4 BC. Let's read about that real quick. Maybe this will answer my question. Robert Pearson, I could stare at snow. I could stare at nothing but a white field of snow for 8 hours straight. I could just stare at it. And I would, you know what I would do? I would go, just look at that. Just look at it. Look at that. Look at that. Look at this. Would you look at it? You know what I do when I see snow? I just look at it. Some of you all have no idea what I'm talking about, but there is an epic YouTuber. His name is Ed Bassmaster. And yeah, I've watched his videos for probably a decade. Probably a decade. And guess who I've never watched? Yeah, the #1 YouTuber. Nope. Now I remember YouTube back in the days when Renetto was the #1 YouTuber. You don't know YouTube unless you realize that the dude that did Coca-Cola, and I think it was Coca-Cola. It was either Coca-Cola or Pepsi. Might have been Pepsi. Pepsi and Mentos. And he did that video and had like, I think it got like 11 million views. He was bigger than the Evolution of Dance video. And then that Evolution of Dance took over everything. You know, I checked a couple of years ago. I was like, oh yeah, I bet Evolution of the Dance is still like top dog. Nope. It's like Gangnam Style or some nonsense. It's just like, oh boy. That's our world, guys. Alright, so what is he talking about? He's having 3 BC. He's going backwards? Or yeah, it's going backwards. Well, it's going forwards. But you get what I'm saying. 5 AD. So what's this dude say about 1 BC? Time of the tribuneship, Tiberius. He's talking about Tiberius, Caius, and Lucius. He's referencing. See these references? You're talking about like how this history gets put together. There's reference points, and that's kind of what I was looking for. So now we've got this Suetonius in Tiberius, chapter 12. Which is what he's using to reference his stories and descriptions of what's going on. You've got lots of different references. I mean, this dude did his homework. So if anybody's really interested in history, like biblical history, obviously this dude did epic work. This is epic. There's no other word for it. Maybe epic actually fails to truly capture. So when Noah was 601, so he's primarily using the Bible, obviously, for a lot of the old history. But look at this. Here, 2242, the book of Sothis, or Sothis, depending on. So he's using biblical references mostly, but he's also using Chronicles. Manetho. I don't know what that is. I don't know what Manetho is. He keeps referencing Manetho. Look it up. Let's look it up. We got a little bit more time. Look it up. So this is just a little teaser, basically, tonight, guys. History book. This is just a teaser. Obviously, I want to do Bible studies on other topics that you all are interested in, and if you give me encouragement and focus, then I will be a lot more focused. This is just kind of like an introduction into biblical history and timelines. It's all. It was my only purpose is to do like a really tiny look into. So Manetho has to have been older than 1650, otherwise an Egyptian priest. Oh, interesting. So if anybody's interested in doing a deep dive, yeah, I was talking about. Wow, intoxicating. Some people might take you seriously, dude. When you throw name calling around, even if it's a joke. Some people are autists and they just read everything and take it all literal. Yes, something about the snow insulates sound or absorbs sound. Yeah, again, if you know Renetto, I mean, again, some people are autists and they don't get it. But I don't even know what you would have been referring to. That would be, well, look at that, Coptic. Look at that. Look at those. I've never even, that is unfamiliar letters to me, and I've studied a lot of languages, but I'm not interested in certain people groups. But Coptic, I'm going to have to look into that. I love different languages and stuff. Are you seeing, guys? I have to show you now my favorite. I have to show you my favorite. This now it's gonna got all these nude situations. I have to show you my favorite painting now. All right, so it's a dude. It doesn't matter. We did get a little bit of a look into how everything was cross-linked, and we found this Annals guy. It's pretty interesting, but I have to show you my favorite. Oh, why is it not spelled? This is how it should be spelled. I'm going to scare some of you with this. Don't worry. It's all good. Ciceri. I forgot his name. This is my favorite painting in the world, guys. And this is what the problem with art is, that it's art is not. There's just hardly anybody with skills like this anymore. It's part of the problem. Settings. Search settings. That's not what I want. It's more than likely not what I want. That's not what I want. I want tools. Is that what I want? Do I want tools? Yeah, that's what I want. What are y'all saying? Oh, thanks. Oh, okay, the snow staring. That makes sense. I get that. But I'm a simple man. I wanted to get a really detailed one so that you could really, really, really see. I really wanted you to see it. I wanted you to see the detail, the beauty of one of the most amazing paintings of all time. I said one of the most. One of the most. Oh, is that as good as it gets, guys? 100%. There we go. So it's a weird. That's interesting. Just look, guys. Look at this. Can I zoom in more? Is that as good as it gets? I mean, look at the tile. This was painted with a hand and a brush. And this picture's still not doing it justice. I mean, look at this lady's ear. Look at this lady's ear. Okay? Look at this guy's ear. Do you guys even understand what it's like to paint an ear? Look at this hand. Look at that hand. Some of you aren't getting what I'm talking about right now, but I grew up around artwork. It's like a big part of my childhood was being around extremely important and famous artwork. Oh, that's bigger. Yeah, 6,000 by 4,000. It's a little bit bigger. It's called Ecce Homo, which is Latin for "behold the man," and is a very significant and meaningful painting to me. Yeah, wiki comments. This one's a little bit lighter in color. Most of this stuff is like photographs from books. As you see the glare, that means it was photographed from a nice photo in a book. But anyway, you see. Yeah, it's a little blurry when you get in. I mean, these people up here, you know, it's not extremely detailed, but there's face, right? The column work. Look at the column work. Like I said, ears, the detail. The near photorealism. Look at the faces in the crowd. Look at the anger, the emotion. Kill! Crucify him! Alright. It's an epic painting. This painting is equal in art and its epicness to that dude's history that he wrote. This dude right here. Let's get his name again. James Ussher. So James Ussher did in words what this guy, what this guy did in painting. Her crayon to this guy's ear and the hair, and this is fuzzy, you know? It's even more stunning, you know, in real life. Like I said, the detail, the sheerness of the fabric. Guys, it's overwhelming. This is just not being done anymore. It's not being done anymore. It's pretty amazing. And neither is this. How many people are diving into the Bible? I mean, there's still people writing commentaries, but so much has already been done, it's almost overwhelming to try and... How do you expound on something like this? Man's lifespan was now half the length it was previously. Just... Tower of Babel happened 5 years after the birth of Peleg, according to Georgius Syncellus' translation, the Book of Sophos. Manetho, Book of Sophos. I mean, that's all. I mean, it's just a lot of information, guys. Well, I hope that some of these resources have been interesting to some of you. I named this Timelines or something. And, what was that? I gotta save that picture. This here is really helpful. It's good to see it all together like that. To see the books of the Bible when they were written. Psalms being written around the same time as Judges. Got it all right there. So when the Exodus happened, again, the Exodus. You know, you think it just looking at all this, if I had to, if I were just like point to when the Exodus happened, I'd be like, oh yeah, somewhere around here, right? But not. You start diving in, it's like, oh wait a second, the Exodus happened. Oh, well, obviously here's Exodus right here, right? But look at how it corresponds to the timing of Psalms, and look at how Ecclesiastes and Proverbs and the Song of Solomon, look at their timing. Were shortly after Chronicles and 2 Samuel, and also the same time as 1 Kings and 2 Chronicles. And then you've got Elijah and Elisha, and where they fall. And just being able to see everything all together, this is a beautiful chart. I'm really liking this. It's a PDF. It's a PDF. It's all good. I'll save it as a picture too. It's really cool. You see that it's from creation.com. I don't know if doing videos about stuff like this is like, if there's copyright anything, but I'm not claiming credit for any of it, so go give those guys money or whatever they want. Chords with Usher's chronology. Oh, see, look. Usher. Look at that. James Usher, The Annals of the World. Updated translation from Latin by Larry and Marion Pierce. Master Books 2003. Man, 2003. That's amazing. Notice how more than half of the entire timeline of the Bible is occupied by the history recounted in Genesis. Yeah. Did you notice that? Half. Half up to Jesus. Genesis. Yeah, it is important. It's an extremely important book. And again, look at the significance of the length of the New Testament compared to anything else. Highlights. We're literally just getting highlights. So much more happened. Jesus did so many more things. Remember, if all of the things that Jesus did were contained in books, the books would fill up the entire world. So, well, that wasn't literal. That wasn't literal. It was literal, guys. Literal enough. Okay? Literal enough. Y'all are funny. Well, thanks for hanging out. M Film Trip, your theory on photography replacing quality art. I've thought the exact same thing. My thoughts on that, however, are where is that depth of skill getting translated into? Because even if you were to talk about a piece of software that was beautifully written, it like just majorly deep, just a beautiful piece of software, the code, right? And well, here's the problem with that: software is written by hundreds of people. Very rarely is there an extremely intense piece of software written by one person. So, like, where is the depth of quality that Antonio Ciceri, I know, I was trying to say Ciceri, I think it's Ciceri, Antonio Ciceri. Where is the depth of quality in anything modern that is done by one human being? It's very hard to find, if at all. All right, well, I'm glad it was helpful. I'm going to actually look up the word iconoclasm because I've heard it, and iconoclasts, a good friend of mine, The Adventures of Tintin, Captain Haddock calls people that he's angry at iconoclasts. So I actually just never looked the word up, so... We can learn together. It's fine. It's good. Ah, interesting. Interesting. And you know, a lot of the motivation behind that is the fear of violating idol worship and graven images. But, guys, let me point something out. This isn't an image to worship. It's not what you would direct your worship towards. Obviously, it is an image to be inspired by, in awe of, and to bring more to life, more to your visual understanding of the moment of a crowd of angry people yelling, "Crucify him." So, though there are people that hypothetically mean well, they think that they're protecting the law. Here's the funny thing: certain people that wear hats made a lot of extra laws, and they got it wrong. And in so doing, ironically, they wound up creating a lot of loopholes. It's very weird how that works. You make a lot more rules than already exist, and in so doing, you wind up creating loopholes to sin. It's fascinating. Almost hard to believe that it was unintentional. Like, you want to give them the benefit of the doubt, but it's kind of hard to understand how that would be unintentional. Somebody intended it. Maybe not everybody that was participating, but somebody intended it, that's for sure. Yeah, the divine gender. It's not a controversy. They're just liars and idiots. How old is the Earth? The Earth is how old does it look? How old does it look? Yeah, exactly. That's my argument. See, the Earth can look old, like 4.3 billion years old. That doesn't mean it's chronologically 4.3 billion years old. There's nothing wrong with that. Gap theories, yeah, we're familiar with that. Yeah, this creation.com, Creation Ministries, they have a lot of resources here. Oh, I'm just now seeing the breakdown. So over here they've got verses, and then references, and then New Testament references, articles, and then New Testament references. That's really cool. So where it shows up in the news, where's the next New Testament? So Genesis 12, each kind is, look at that. This is nice. I didn't recognize that at first, but that's really cool too. Skeptics Challenge. A God of love created a killer jellyfish. Guys, how many people are getting it wrong? They're not getting it. so many times people just get it wrong. They miss the point. Just missing the point. Yeah, this is epic. And it's bedtime for me. I hope you all enjoyed this. I'm asking you, I don't think I finished my sentence earlier, but when I was talking about financial encouragement, you need to understand I get paid $14 an hour. So if you were to financially encourage me $1, it's meaningful. So that's all I have to say about that. But you don't need to. You do what you want to do. I do say in-group preference, though. So you better be in-group preferencing somebody that gets it. Doesn't have to be me. But definitely you need to in-group preference everybody that gets it at every possible opportunity. Adonai's judgment. Dude, are you a poet? Dude, I have a serious question for you, Adonai's judgment. I've been looking at your videos, and I watch them, and I give you thumbs. Are you a poet? Because I'm confused. I feel stupid. Riff Bear, I would never shame anybody for any gift that they sent my way. At all. Yeah, it's on my description. Film Trip. It's a PayPal link. But just pray for me or whatever. Guys, I love the body of Christ, and I want you guys to have in-group preference. What that means is contribute to things that you value, but also make sure that you're giving your money at every possible turn. If you can buy eggs from somebody that gets it. If you can, if you need lumber, search Craigslist and be like, hey man, just curious, you got some lumber here. I'm just wondering, like, how do you feel about Jesus? And they're like, what are you talking about? They're like, oh, I mean, if they're like, I love Jesus, but what does that have to do with wood? Be like, well, it doesn't, but I want to buy wood from you. Nah, I mean, you can't do it all the time, but as much as possible. That's all I'm saying. All right, Adonai's Judgment. Thank you for clearing that up for me, because your stuff is fascinating. And knowing that that is what's going on, and that I'm not just having a that I'm not just having a seizure when I watch your videos, I just felt really stupid. But I'm gonna watch more and pay closer attention. But obviously, I love the word Adonai, and I was reading the it's like a tiny metal piece. It's dangerous for kids. I was reading from this good old. This is something, and then I'm gonna go to bed. Then I'm gonna land the plane. Then I'm gonna read some super chats. That's what I should say. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and do this, and then I'll read the super chats. All right, then I'm gonna read the super chats and land the plane. I'm kidding, guys. Calm down. It's all good. It's fine. So it's so heavy. I just don't want to hurt it. I have to wait for the delay. If you're wondering why I'm holding this so long, I'm just making sure you can see what I'm doing. Yeah, anyway. So, I don't even know if you could see the word Genesis, but all right. So, I was reading this to my daughters, and I was just like, this is how the Bible was written originally. And I grabbed their Bible, and I grabbed this, and I was like, here's this verse, and we did a little bit of the Hebrew, we did a little bit of the Greek. And they thought that Greek was kind of funny, that some of the words sounded like the English, like the names specifically, obviously. But yeah, Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. V'haaretz hayata tohu v'vohu v'choshek al panei tehom v'ruach Elohim merachefet al panei hamayim. That's the first two verses. I always forget that merachefet word. V'ruach Elohim merachefet el panei hamayim. Yeah. Vayomer Elohim Yahi or Vayahi or. Guys, Hebrew is so beautiful, and the people that are supposed to know these words are such a disgrace. Such a disgrace. I don't have any qualms saying that. Having what appears to be godliness, but denying its power. It's just amazing, guys. It's just amazing. Gustave Doré illustrated the entire Bible. I don't know if you all are familiar with Gustave Doré, but he's an epic illustrator. He did. I'm pretty sure he did the entire Bible. And again, just epic. And I know I've used that word quite a few times, but available viewing sizes. What, you just click on it. Cannot be loaded. Please try again later. What about this? What? None of it? Are you kidding me? Come on now. No, none of them? Oh, whatever. Well, you can see them. It's fine. Look at that. Isaac blessing Jacob. Let me see if I can zoom in here. They're nice. They're nice illustrations. Very nice. Go to the end. Alright, I said I was going to wrap it up. Look at that. The New Jerusalem. Yeah, all the way to the end of Revelation, guys. The dude worked. He did his work. Did anybody have any other serious comments? Yeah, I'm going to bed. That's really cool in Film Trip. All my comments are serious. I didn't mean it like that. You know that. A lot of Renaissance art has been everyone's clothes falling off. Voluptuously flowing in the breeze. Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's a lot of art was very provocative, but it wasn't. It was usually eros and not porneo. There's difference. Technical depicts man unwilling to lift a finger for God. Not sure about the nudes around the Vatican though. Yeah, I get it, Riff. I get it, Riff Bear. Totally. No, the Leonardo, the dude was, he was a special guy. Yeah, Rift Bear, definitely. And talking about how we're hardly even willing to lift a finger to the God who came down to earth, came down on our level. All right, if any of you have any, you can just leave comments, right? You don't have to PayPal comments. And then obviously there's Operationbabylandlord@gmail.com. You can always email me on that to hop on board as part of Operation Baby Landlord, or if you want to get a message to me, that's an easy way too. Yeah. Gosh, the vision of death. Need to remind myself. Gustave Doré. Thanks, Bear Arms. I think one or two of you said something about my haircut. Thanks. Gravy Mages. Gravy Mages. I'm confused by that. 1832 to 1883. Okay, it's 19th century. Oh. Oh. Well, that's how he got famous. By age 5, dude was a prodigy artist. That makes sense. Inferno, Purgatorio, Paradiso. I told you, I need to get with Warsaw Bear. If anybody has contact information for Warsaw Bear, I don't know if he makes videos. I don't know how to get a message to Warsaw Bear. But he's a Catholic, and I want to do not a debate, I want to do an interview with Warsaw Bear. Because he's very passionate. Yeah, we'll move on. It's a lot of stuff. All right. There's a good image to close the night on. Creator of the universe. Actually, I need to pull up the verse. There was no more hardcore verse. I don't think that there was more. There was a lot of everything Jesus said was hardcore, but nothing is. Okay, I'm going to stop saying nothing. This is an amazing verse. All of them are. over me. Fine. Verse. See, I'm not good at quoting, obviously. It takes practice, guys. John 19:11. It makes sense. Guys. Pilate tries to do a power play. Okay? You got to understand the context here. Do you refuse to speak to me? Do you not know that I have authority to release you and authority to crucify you? Jesus answered, and calmly I might add, you petulant human. Now that's not what he says. That's not what he says. He says, you would have no authority over me if it were not given to you from above. Therefore, the one who has handed me over to you is guilty of greater sin. You have no authority over me at all unless it has been given you from above. For he who delivered me over to you has the greater sin. Well, there's a qualitative reference to the measure of sin. It wasn't absolving him. It wasn't saying no sin, but it was saying something that was interesting. It was like, bruh, first of all, you ain't got power unless it's given to you. Second of all, just chill, because things are about to go down, and there's some people who are going to be held way more accountable than you, but anyway, you get the point. I hear something about a Discord, just invite me or something like that. The subscriptions, they've been very slow, but I don't know. What's my expectation? My expectation is 1, 2, 3 a day. And that's obviously unrealistic, so it is what it is. It's not a big deal. It's fine. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, and hope that as many people get it as possible. And I want you to help people get it as we help each other get it. What does he keep saying? What does get it? What does get it mean? Get it means this. The Bible, Scripture, Jesus. Getting it means truly. It means that you recognize who is your master. Jesus. Anyway. That's an epic verse, guys. You have no authority over me. There's a lot of versions here. BibleHub.com. Dude, that's a lot of versions. It's a lot of versions. It's fine. It's good. It's all good. All right. I could just get distracted in the Bible for hours and all this good stuff. But everybody have a good night. And if you have people you can share this video with, then do that. That would be great. And if you don't, then enjoy it and teach others. Learn and then teach others. Teach them what you learned. Hey, I just learned this. Teach them what you learned.